Hi, we're going to talk about chapter 6 here, changing the world here. Are you going to change the world, or me, or somebody else here? We are all changing the world with the use of new technology. That technology you can call internet. And the other end, you have mobile phone, you have your notebook connecting to internet. That's how we change the world here. The most significant innovation of our decade is the internet here. With the internet here, we all together going to change the world here. Because the big deal about internet is making decision here. When we want to make a decision, we need to have the info. No info, no decision making here. And with info here, info comes from data here. So internet connect all kinds of data, and data forms info. And based on info, we can all make some decision to change the world here. One example is that used to be if you live in a remote area, or if you work in the daytime, but to get a degree, the classroom or the school is far away from you. The classes are all in the daytime. You have to work. You cannot go there. Then you cannot get a degree. With the internet, you can remotely log on to the class here. Say it's a far away school here. You still can get a degree. And internet here with the online learning here, the teacher may record a video lecture and you can view it during the evening here. You don't have to be real time. That's called asynchronous learning, meaning don't have to be at the same time, at the same place, or anytime, any place. That's changed the world here. That's one example to tell you more and more people are holding up higher and higher degree because of internet. And this is good news for us to get a degree. And it's a not so good news for everyone is competition intense. We are competing peoples from all over the world with the info, can make decision, can make something happen. That something happen as a student, get a degree. So this is a smaller world here, and we are global, and we are facing more competition here. It's not me. It's not you, it's the technology. The internet technology changing the world here. Internet technology was invented by government, US government, military, Department of Defense, 1969. That was the year here. Thinking about us, almost 1970, and right now it's 2020. So we have 50 years here. 50 years, the internet is very, very mature. Gradually, day by day, month by month, year by year, has changing the world and are going to keep changing the world here. So to answer a simple question from chapter 6, who or what is changing the world here? Well, I'll say internet. Now we are talking about legal and ethical issue here. Legals and ethical, they are different here. Legal means law, regulation. We have many laws, many regulations for internet, but it's behind the technology, about 10 years behind. Technology, the legal aspect here are behind the technology aspect here. So that's, they are trying to catching up here. After 50 years here, we have a lot of internet law regulation, but not good enough, not fast enough to catch in the change here. Let me tell you one thing here about the change here about long time ago. We'll say I was talking about 30 years ago. 30 years ago, the government want to help to promote the competition for the carriers, phone companies here. At that time, if you are 30 years old or older, you may still remember a long distance call going to cost you a lot. Maybe like a 5 minutes call from Fort Worth to New York may cost you $3 here. $3 at that time, maybe it's like $5 today. So like 1 minute long distance call going to cost you $1. That's very, very expensive. Today, it's like nothing because it's almost included in your mobile phone bills here. I mean, you have like unlimited long distance calling, or you just use Skype. Then you get yourself a long distance call for free. So long distance call at that time, 1 minute for $1. Today for free. That's the change here. Then at that time, I worked for MCI, a company. The biggest one is AT&T, the phone company. The second biggest one is MCI. The third biggest one is Sprint. Government said that by law, only 3 of you can offer long distance service. No other carriers phone companies can offer long distance. So you make a phone call here, you have to choose AT&T or MCI or Sprint. So that was the good old days for those 3 companies, and at that time I was with MCI. 1999, there's a new law called Telecom Law for 1999. That law changed to whoever want to offer long distance calls can offer long distance calls. Then suddenly we have so many phone companies offering long distance call here. The price has been dropped dramatically, and MCI failed, was no more a company anymore, cannot compete. So that was the change here. The change tells you that 30 years ago, the government believed we're going to use the law regulations to help the mobile phone, the phone companies here. And later on, they realized let the market drive. The market know what's going on here. We don't want to limit. We don't want to do that anymore. So that's the change. Internet nowadays, it's pretty much like the same way. The government has placed limited restriction to internet. And internet, against the previous example I was giving to you, that US long distance call are totally different. Because I mean, AT&T, MCI, Sprint, or other companies, they are under US government FTC regulation. How about internet? Internet are global. Many users, many websites are outside of US. They are not governed by the US government here. Well, simply put, they don't care. I mean, they want to do whatever they want to do here. I mean, by law, you can do nothing. Then what should we do? We need to resolve a technical issue with technical ways. I mean, you're going to technically block certain site here. That's what you do here. I mean, it's not by law. It says, hey, certain site in certain country, you cannot do something. It doesn't really work that way. You need to have a technology to block that here. So that's talking about legal here. Thinking about legal, that's the law here, and technology. If you only thinking about legal, law, you don't thinking about technology here, you're not going to go very far. And also ethical, right or wrong here. This is also important here. We are only human being. We're still human being here. So we are rational and we are emotional. That so far has not been changed a lot. So right and wrong is important to people here. Right and wrong is not important to robots here. Robots here, however, you program, they will accordingly perform here. But for people, you thinking this is right or wrong here. That's very important here. And right or wrong here, we know some people think, yeah, this is okay. Some people say, no, this is not okay here. But mainly we have a consensus, meaning most people would agree this is ethical or this is unethical. It's not like law here. It's not like law here say most people believe this is legal or illegal, or I believe it's legal or illegal, or you believe it's legal or illegal. It doesn't count that way here. Something the law says legal, then it's legal. Says illegal, that's illegal. Doesn't matter how many people or you or me, how we feel or how our opinion here. So that's law here. And law, that's the absolute here. Have a so-called correct answer. Is it legal? Is it illegal? You talk to your attorney here, they will tell you here. But ethical, there's no people this is more like religious. You need to talk to someone more religious about is this right or wrong from a religious point of view, or from common sense point of view, or from personal point of view. Is that ethical, right or wrong here? Now we are talking about legal and ethical, and I add a point, and that point is called technology here. You need to consider internet bulletin. Is that legal or illegal? Is that ethical or unethical? Then considering legal, ethical, and technology. How can we use technology to catch or to preventing or to reduce internet bulletin? Can we do that? And since we have 2 points here, I still want to introduce one more factor here to discuss here is number 1, legal, illegal. Number 2, ethical, unethical. Number 3, technology. Number 4, culture. Different culture have different way of evaluating things. So we need to considering the culture aspect here. In certain area with certain culture, this is ethical or legal, may turn out to be unethical, illegal. That's the culture. That's the culture stuff here. So we are talking about as a engineer or working for a multinational company, you need to know the culture. Like for me, I work for NEC. That's a Japanese company, pretty much like our AT&T. Then they have their Japanese culture. And Japanese culture here is different. I'm not talking about like eating the sushi, that kind of stuff here. I'm talking about organizational culture, meaning the way you work, the attitude toward your work, like overtime here. So overtime in the Japanese culture, that's a common practice. And to some other area, it's it's once in a while. And in Japanese culture, that's like a daily business. Every day you work overtime. I'm only talking about NEC, talking about those 4 years I worked for that company here. That's limited sample I have here, but based on that you need to know. And then I also work for a different company that's called Ericsson. Ericsson is a Swedish company. They have their Swedish culture here. So Swedish culture is different from the US culture here. One example is one time AT&T have a new phone feature here today. Today the term maybe apps here. You have an app here called EKTS. And EKTS is at that time we're not talking about mobile phone, we're talking about your office phone or your home phone, talking about office phone. Someone call you and you can pre-program, so your office phone going to, if you're not there after one ring, they are going to send forward your call to people A and B. Then A and B can, based on that, A going to forward a call to C and D, and B going to forward to X and Y and Z here. So turn out to be very, very complex here, very, very difficult to use. If you want to say very, very powerful, it's too much to handle here. I mean, all I'll say that's worry too much. For instance, I'm a boss with the EKTS here. Ring one time, then forward it to my secretary. You say, why ring one time? Oh, that's a reminder, short ring beep. So I know, okay, there's a call here. I have already programmed my EKTS. So that short call is beep. That's a reminder. Yeah, somebody called me and I'm busy. So I send to my secretary. Then my secretary is also busy. She can use the same way here to send to her co-worker. Then her co-worker happen to have something. Can I handle? Can forward to another to another co-worker here, to keep going here. You're not going to miss that call. Someone going to answer that call. Or once you forward 7 or 8 times here, that one here is going to get very, very confused. I'm trying to talk to A. Now A forward to B, B and forward to C, C forward to D. Eventually I talk to G, person G. Whoa, who's person G? I don't even know. And person G will say, who's calling? What do you want? I have no clue whatsoever. So it's a bad idea here. That feature here is very powerful. It's very complex. Or you can say that's worry too much here. Worry too much here. Now, that using the Swedish culture here, we're talking about culture here. That feature here is half finished here. So because the customer don't want it anymore, then they just stop there. Okay, we'll stop it here. We're not going to do it here. We're not going to talk about it here, and it's there. We're going to do something else. Okay, so that's their culture. Okay, and some other companies, they may use a different way to deal with it here. And I like to say, hey, why in first place, we adopt this this design here? I mean, how can we improve in the future to preventing this from half done features cost money and waste of money here? They may want to do that here, but this is really nothing you can do here. So you just put it there here, don't want to talk about it here, leave it behind and do something else. That's a little bit of Swedish culture here. Now, so always thinking about legal, ethical, and always thinking about technology and culture here. You want to work for a company here with a value, match your value here. Then it's going to be win-win situation here. I know if you have no choice, you have to work for some company, you have to. Well, chances are 2 companies want to hire you and they are all equal. All equal here means they give you the same salary here, same promotion opportunity here, same working environment here, but then you need to check here, how about the value here? Should the company believe we only want to make short-term profit or we want to make a long-term profit? How about the social responsibility? The company believe, no, we don't need to fulfill our social responsibility, or the other way around. Then you need to compare that to your own value, your own belief, then choose yourself a company here. Now, the very important here from learning is you need to keep asking yourself here, what does that got to do with me? You're talking about legal, ethical, technology, culture. What does that got to do with me? Yes, there's a lot got to do with you here. Ethic here, right or wrong here. You're thinking about like this one here. Yeah, you're making fun of someone here. Yeah, that's one thing here. You need to be very careful, very, very careful. Verbally and written, they are different here. You talk to someone something and you write it down as an email to send someone something. That's different. You say, hey, no, I use exactly the exact words here, so they are the same. They are not the same. Even with the exact wording here, when you are talking about someone here, you have your tone here. Your tone is kind of a friendly or kind of tough here. The tone. When you're writing there, people cannot read your tone here. There's no tone. And when you're talking, unless people record it, otherwise, once you talk here, well, it's gone. It's going to be your words against my words here. Then we cannot really base on that to make any judgmental decision. However, if you write someone an email or a text message or put it Twitter or Facebook, that's there like forever. That's like evidence. People get offended. They want to sue you here. They can be based on that. That's an evidence. I have evidence here. So very, very be careful here. They are not the same here with the internet. Long time ago, there's no internet. And also, I mean, if you talk bad about someone to talk to someone, other people here, and how many people here? 3. Okay, all 3 people heard about that. If you send out under the YouTube, how many people? 10,000 people. If that is very interested, then 10,000 people here can hear that here. So that's a huge difference between using the technology or not using the technology. This verbally stuff here is not using the technology. And if you write it down, or if you talk, record it, and put it on the internet, YouTube, Twitter here, you need to think about the consequence. The consequence will not be the same here. So this is, again, right or wrong. It's wrong to verbally bulletin anyone. It's wrong. But with the technology, you verbally bulletin someone and you record it, put it under YouTube here. With that technology, YouTube, internet technology here, you may get yourself into a big trouble, or you may hurt someone real badly here. The consequence for both of you are severe. Thinking about that here, huh? So don't just play with that here. I mean, thinking about internet is all good, no evil here. So I mean, as long as I use it here, people all make mistake here. Well, okay, I just say sorry here, or I just pull it off. It's not like that here. Yeah, yes, so-called consequence here. You need to be careful about legal consequence here. Yeah. One question here is very people or most people ask is like social media stuff here. Now, I work for a company ABC, and I use social media, so I post ABC. The company's how I feel under the social media. I say my boss is very bad, work hours unreasonable, and everything here, all the bad about the company here, and talking about something like that. Can the company fire me? Yes, it's a yes or no question. Can the company fire me? The answer most likely is yes. Now, if you say that I have my rights, well, I have my freedom of speech, so you cannot fire me. Check that again. Freedom of speech. The law here is talking about the government. You, as a people, as a citizen, you can criticize the government, and the government can do nothing about that. So if you want to post something under the social media, said that, well, the government is not doing very good here, no government agent going to come to you and ask you about questions here. That's how you feel. That's your opinion. That's your comment. That's fine here. But if you do the same thing here, say something is very bad about your company here, you hurt the company's image here, and company can just fire you. Your freedom of speech is against the government, to criticize the government, not to criticize your employer. You know that, right? I mean, how about your neighbor? You go next door and talk bad about your neighbor. Can your neighbor sue you? Of course they can sue you, right? So you say, no, I have my freedom of speech, so I can talk back to my neighbor. Can you talk back to your neighbor? No, you cannot here. Okay, so freedom of speech in this case here is only the government that's used to allow citizens, the people, to criticize the government here. That's the only thing here. So Google freedom of speech. See how can you learn here. Yeah, empathy here. Yeah, behavior here. How would you feel if that happened to you? Yeah, that's the right thing here. This lesson here we learn here is not like useless here. That's a bulletin here. It's a big problem here. It's happened in like in here in US here, and it's the biggest. It's even worse in like in Japan. So that's a problem here. We're going to try to minimize, try to reduce, try to prevent it. That's we should. That's ethical stuff here. We have law here. So you put it in someone here, that's unethical, means it's not right, and it's illegal here. We have law to say, hey, it's not right here. You cannot do that here. So pay attention to that here, and pay attention to the writing here and talking here is different here. So don't just chit chat, text with a friend a lot here, then go to internet here You talk about your friend, you talk about some gossip here. I understand here. But you better not talk about work because you want to keep your job here. Then that's not the place to talk. Then you ask me here, well, I don't feel the company is treating me well or right, and you don't want me to talk that under social media. No, I don't. You should talk to your boss, your boss's boss. You should talk to human resource here. And there are many jobs in the world here. I mean, if you don't like that one here, try to find yourself another one here. If the problem cannot be resolved here. But you need to do the right channel here. Right channel here is company, they have something called human resource. If human resource don't support you and you still believe you are right here, try to find yourself another job here. You don't have to only work for one job here. And sometimes it's not right or wrong here. Sometimes just match here. You and the company, you don't have a match. Or you have a match before. Right now, you don't have a match anymore. It's pretty much like people, they get married, they get divorced here. Same idea here. You work for a company here, then you want to divorce the company here. Then you divorce the company. Or sometimes the company want to divorce you. It happens a lot in real life. What do people do? Well, they most likely here, they try to remarry here, and this time here, try to pay attention. Sometimes it's out of luck. Then you need to divorce again here. We all know that. So that's what I want to share with you about this one here. Do a little bit of review here, talking about legal here, ethical here, that's right or wrong here, and technology here. So you have 4 factors to consider. Go back to here, you see here, those 4. Number 1, legal, law. Number 2, ethical, right or wrong. Number 3, technology. Be careful about the technology here. Number 4, culture. Based on a different culture. That culture is not really like a foreigner culture. It's like organizational culture. Some companies are more open to suggestion. Some companies are less open to suggestion. Some companies are more bureaucratic here. So they all have the culture here. I mean, if you cannot change the culture, you feel like it's not what you like, then try to find yourself another job here. Yeah, that's all I would like to share with you for this lecture.